Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to go over the origins and the history of Taoist tea practices, Taoist weather magic, and Taoist cultivation using other magic star-stepping constellations. The deeper understanding of the healing properties of how tea was once just a medicinal catalyst, and it turned into a part of the Chinese culture and the staple. Stay to the end of the video and go through an exercise to amplify your energy body using a portion of our traditional embryonic breathing. Enjoy the video. After settling a dispute, some resentment is sure to remain. Being content with what you have is always best in the end. The sage always assumes the debt as if holding the left side of a contract. He gives and gives and wants nothing in return. One with true virtue always seeks a way to give. One who lacks true virtue always seeks a way to get. To the giver comes the fullness of life, to the taker just an empty hand. Though the Tao of heaven has no favorites, it always sides with the one who has a pure heart. Realizing the truth to all things, the mother of all things, the name that echoes right here, between the breath in and the breath out. Let it flow as all rivers return. This is the true nature of who you really are. All is one, one is all. Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade.
That was beautiful.
As is all things.
Mm-hmm. A nice reminder.
The purity of the power of our scripture is that it all is a representation of another facet of the diamond. It all comes back to the same place. That realization is all things.
Mm-hmm.
And I am your humble servant and seafood Taoist Master San Quinn. We are getting closer to our new year, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. For all those that have already started, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Every year is a new year. Every year is a perfect example. Yeah. Every day is a new year. Every day is a perfect example. Everything is perfection. And so, with a new year, with a new turning point, a new season, a solstice, a new moon.
Mm-hmm.
These are all things that are so relevant to us as Taoists, turning to the deep, purer nature of all things, the universe. The Tao, the mother of all things. We speak on ritual, the power of ritual. We have many different rituals, literally thousands. But specifically, as a Taoist, we look to Star stepping, the constellations. We've spoken about that in the past, the parallel between the constellations that you see with your very eyes within the stars, within space, the universe, and the parallel to those constellations and the ones that are created on the planet Earth. They're just like both tuning forks, amplifying the frequency. And as a Taoist, we activate the 7 stars of the Big Dipper that has absolutely culminating internal effects on the internal alchemy, Qigong. This is part of the star-stepping magic that we speak of, one of the rituals that we do. But moreover, let's look today at, basic fundamental magic like weather magic, and how we integrate just a staple as a Taoist, a staple which is just the healing elixir, the absorbing of the riches. One element that is tangible is tea in of itself.
Yeah, so
right?
powerful.
It is so powerful, and we've been using that as a healing tool for tens of thousands of years, beyond what people have recorded as, recorded, evidence of the Yellow Emperor, the Jade Emperor. We know very well they've been operating on planet Earth for tens of thousands of years. Only for the records can there be a correlation from what is available within 6 to 10,000 years before the turning of the new world that we are in today. Now, that's very limited. We know as Taoists that this is going on for tens of thousands. And so the Yellow Emperor, really another transmutation of the Jade Emperor, which is so much deeper in understanding. And then, of course, the celestial representation, the eternal, immortal representation of the Jade Emperor, which is, a jade purity. And so he's one of the gateways to, the cosmos creation, one of the 3, which is supreme purity, jade purity, highest purity. And that basically is the creation of the cosmos as we know it. And that all comes down to our relationship with the universe, and then greater, deeper understandings of these things. So, let's talk about tea, the evolution of it. And, it was originally created through the whispering of the universe to, what's clearly evident is Yellow Emperor's, construct of medicine or healing, really. The whispering of the universe to the Yellow Emperor. And so it first resided as, the internal canon of, medicine as we know it today, traditional Chinese medicine from the Yellow Emperor, was created when the universe gave him 9 basic plants that he could identify with on Earth that were used for healing purposes. And so that generated over time as one of the major staples of, traditional Chinese medicine as we know it, which would be herbology, right? Apothecary, understanding how you can integrate these plants. Now, this is our definition of plant medicine, not necessarily what a lot of people today are speaking on, but yes. So this happened 10,000 years ago, and then it was integrated within Chinese culture and a staple of, what we know today as traditional Chinese medicine. And so over the evolution of emperors as we merge into, the 20th century, 21st century, over the centuries, tea was first identified clearly within culture as a staple for Taoists, and it was then reflected on as a staple for Buddhists, where it's funny how human beings, as we know it, sort of get their intuitive insight, and so they were hitting the booze, and the booze was not giving them the same type of insight that once they realized, they went from drinking liquor, as they would like to call it, to tea, because it was far more refreshing and it was expansive and insightful, and they could actually remember what they were, their focus of whatever it was that they were doing, because
they probably used it to cure their hangover and then went, oh no, I feel a lot better. Maybe we'll just stick with the tea.
right, and so and so the medicinal aspect has never left the Chinese culture. Understanding that it's turned into a ritual, which we always have an offering, but on a deeper level, it's a purification, a detox. So within the ritual aspect, we have specific ways we use, certain pots that are created out of clay that absorb all the, as we like to call it, absorb the riches of that particular tea. So we would never, cross contaminate teapots. That's why in rituals, for any sort of tea ritual, if you're familiar with any of them, they're very small little pots, and there's a 9-point sequence that we go through in basically percolating and purifying that tea, and then finally we consume it as an offering, because what are you doing? You are absorbing the riches, and what is the offering? Well, you are the universe. So when you give this vehicle an offering, which is so powerful when you start to understand the dynamics of rituals and altars and the magic, the foundation of it. When you give an offering, profound things take place. I mean, just me saying this, the rippling effects that you guys have, the chilling effect that you had just from hearing that. So the tea is a huge component of our rituals, and it I know for a fact that Zlatsu is my teacher, and I speak to him on a daily basis, minute by minute, hour by hour. This has gone back well before there is documented evidence of it, 3,000 to 5,000 BC before current day, which leans into, we used it as medicinal. The Yellow Emperor was given the 9 plants, the 9 plant medicine herbs that he started the herbology, the apothecary system that today within Chinese medicine, one of them being herbology. And so those 9 herbs were completely just for healing purposes. And over time, as there was an upsurgence of Taoism, which was so powerful, we used it within rituals, and it was a cleansing and purification that people would use after meditation. So it was a starting of a day, an offering, a gift to start your day, and within your day you would use it. And there's quite clear evidence of how, because it's such a small little shot, and we use these little clay teapots for our rituals, we would drink quite a few of these cups of tea. And so a leveled out classic amount would be at least 9 little cups. And through that purification, healing ritual, you would get this incredible upsurgence of expansion that comes with it as you continue to consume the tea, whether it's across culmination of different teas, and you have like 3 teapots at minimum, and you're drinking different teas, blending them in so they absorb anything that's turbulent within the physical body and expel it. And it's very, very powerful when you do the ritual correctly. Going back to the star stepping, going back to the magic within Taoism. And that's where you get that surge going, oh, wow, he ain't kidding. Holy moly, the chills right now. Yes, it is, because it's so powerful. And so there was a crossover, and then it was adopted by Buddhist practices as it was a staple for Taoists, handed down from the Chinese culture, and then it moved into, the Eastern world, i.e. India and whatnot. But tea, when cultivated correctly, was such a powerful tool, right down to how you blended the soil and where you put that particular tea crop, at what sort of base of which mountain, in what direction. All these things are sort of elements of feng shui that add to the potency of that tea and what it will do for you in relation to your magical practices. And then, of course, how you use that offering to create, oh, yeah, that's right, we're all getting the surge, because it's so powerful. And, no one has really ever spoken about it before. This is a big thing for, any Taoist that understands the mechanics. This is a huge component of the offerings. Now, there was a crossover that, the Yellow Emperor had always used it as an offering, but then through, different emperors over the history of China, they would always use it as an offering at a burial, a funeral. So this would take place as a simple symbolic offering to the heavens, and these guys would, normally offer, a carcass, an animal, a sacrifice. And then one of the emperors, in the turning of a new dynasty, made it the standard that you offer 3 cups of tea with rice and some fruits, and then they dismissed the sacrificing of human, or another sentient being, which was a good crossover. So today we have this ritual, this tea time with Latsu, and we use it as a offering at the beginning and ending of each day. We'll start getting into the rituals within this channel, and we'll start integrating them. But the pot, the clay, the type of clay, how it's formed, and then what it absorbs within the tea. So you never cross it. So if you've got a certain blend of tea, a leaf, a specific leaf, that will always remain in that specific pot. So we have, quite a few tea pots that we use within rituals, but as a fundamental for Taoism, you want to have at least 9, right? So
Now, would you ever share tea? Like, would you have your own pot and I would have my own pot, or would we have a pot and then you have a cup and then I have a cup?
as long as the basically the practitioner is using their tea pot with the same blend, you can share the tea, absolutely, because this is like magic. This is like a healing properties. It's fundamentally it's rejuvenating.
Yes.
And so when the tea is imprinted with the magic from the day of its conception to its growth within the ground, and then generated from the type of soil to where it's positioned, at what and in what direction it's created within a mountain, which i.e. would be more representative of a pyramid. We don't need to go into that, but let's just say that was the case. Yes, that's more sacred geometry. Yes, oh yeah. And so these are all relevant, and then you come down to the actual ritual, and then there's a specific incantation and a magical ritual that you go through before offering that tea. And then, so yes, it's equivalent to, your OBE, i.e., mushrooms, whatever you want to do that you think you need to create an out-of-body experience. You can acquire that through a tea ritual, and you can do it all inside without the necessity of external forces that would evoke an opening of a doorway that then shuts for you, and then you're not able to replicate it. This is the biggest issue that most people have when they're taking, external things that are evoking this type of response. So you have, psilocybin, DMT, ayahuasca, all these things, profound things, gateway openers. Unfortunately, for most, that becomes a staple or a necessity for them to create their own enlightenment.
Like a crutch.
Well, it can be. It depends on how you look at it. It depends on whether you're taking that opening and then expanding on it permanently, or you've resided in the facts that you now need this as a necessity to acquire a result. It's all variable. So the tea ritual is been around and was truly transformed from just medicinal to actual a cultural ritual within Taoism. Taoism is, fundamentally the oldest practice of any sort of spiritual awareness within Chinese culture, and it's been dismissed the most and sort of eradicated over, thousands of years due to the power of it and what we can acquire within our rituals to gain a level of consciousness. And that's why the emperors would always have their Taoist advisors, the biggest component. So this tea ritual, they're the fundamentals of the tea ritual and where the origins of it and where it came from. And over time now you have, it's basically a staple within, Chinese culture, drinking tea. And it has all these other healing benefits. But initially, due to the whispers of the universe to the Yellow Emperor, it was created as one of the foundations of traditional Chinese medicine as you know it today. And so it was for medicinal purposes initially, and then it turned into a massive foundational part of our magic and just a cultural thing that is known throughout the world.
Yeah.
That, billions of people partake in the ritual of enjoying this tea, which when imprinted, when created in a certain way, cultivated and nurtured, it has this incredible properties, magical properties that are used in our magic. And when you induce it, when you take it in, it absorbs all the turbulence within your physical body. That's the main purpose of it, and that was the staple of it. When the universe gave it to the Yellow Emperor thousands of years ago, that was the sole purpose. And so still to this day, as much as it's delicious in so many levels, it's for ritual purposes. And so ritual and just internal healing, right? So then we talk about, weather magic and how you can use that, the tea rituals, star stepping, other magical rituals to evoke a response within the universe, that you have that turning point, you are that facet, and that ability to acquire that is quite powerful. And so now we speak on the soil where the crop was sown and grown, in what direction it was laid towards at the base of a mountain, generally speaking. This depended on the environment, but that was a critical component, was the actual crop was at the base of a mountain, and of course, the rest is history. But Taoism really spearheaded that, and then it was known to be a cultural thing that went up to the level of the emperor, and each dynasty, and that was generated as a part of being an emperor, is having this access to the finest teas in the land and all the healing benefits from that. And so getting to Taoist weather magic, again, you're looking at directions, you're looking at what it is that you want to acquire from the Taoist weather magic. What is it that you want to acquire? And I promise you, it will be realized. And it's crazy because someone thinks, how could you have the power to alter something that dramatically? Because I am the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And
everything is energy.
Everything is energy. And so you're not taking from something that cannot be created or destroyed. Work that one out. The reality is the universe is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. And knowing this, it's an ongoing thing. You can never take from something that is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. It cannot be deficient when it is infinite.
Mm-hmm.
It is abundant. And so there's certain fundamentals of when people lean on laws of certain things that have no validity once you understand the universe has no moral compass, and it is infinite in its nature. So first and foremost, there's a gateway to the 9 celestial stars of the magical box. What? And so we're always leaning on the constellations, and we're using the constellations to acquire frequencies and magic that alter this 3D reality. And within that, the magical box is the 9 celestial stars. Now, this has correlation with the Big Dipper, and when used appropriately, you will create a sacred geometry that looks very similar to a portal that you may be familiar with, Sacred Infinite Flower, something of that nature. I've never thought about it that way. Mm-hmm. In any case, this is relevant to acquiring the directions. Then you call in what we, part of our family, the 4 heavenly kings, and they are the keepers of the directions. They work closely with Kuan Yin, and she is representative of earth, pure yin, fertility, longevity, expansive just consciousness. And so the 4 heavenly kings are the guardians of the directions. You use them with the 9 points of the celestial square. And then you use the Big Dipper to layer in this. That's right. And so the deeper level of this is your acquisition of creating a direction. You want it to rain, you want it to be sunny, you want it to be windy. These are all relevant. Now, we use specific within our temple. I have teachers, moreover, Supreme Thunder God. You ain't playing with Supreme Thunder God. Mm-hmm. Or moreover, one of his very, very stern and qualified vetting peers which I have a very good relationship with, is Li Gong, the god of thunder. And so you have, Supreme Thunder God, then you have Li Gong. And then, of course, we also lean on Feng Bao, which is, he's the god of wind. And so all these elements culminated together create the magic of however you want to create whatever it is that you want, whenever you want.
Do you remember story time for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember we were flying back on an airplane, and it was so foggy that where the terminal we were flying into, that we couldn't land. It was like too fog. The fog was so low they couldn't see the landing platform, and so we're kind of like, wait, why are we flying around again? So we flew around one more time, and the pilot comes on the radio and he's like, hey, it's really foggy here. We're gonna fly around one more time and see if we can, coordinate align it so the plane will go down. But if not, we only have enough fuel to fly to another. We're going to have to refuel. So we'll have to fly to a different airport, then refuel, then come back again.
We'll see.
Yeah, which was like, and at the time, we had little babies and we're in it. And so we hear this thing over the intercom, and you're like, no, I think I'm going to open up that fog for us, because I think we want to get back home and land. And it wasn't just us. I think there was like 6 other planes all trying to fly in to this terminal, and all of them couldn't see past this super dense, but like really low fog. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of fly around again, and we're not sure, are we going to land? Are we not? And then we feel the plane like going down, and you can look out the window, and it's just fog, 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 fog. You can't hear anything, or you can't see anything. And then you just feel the drop of like the wheels hitting the tarmac or whatever. And I just remember looking at you, and you had this big smile on your face. But it was like, that was the one of many of this kind of weather magic. And the pilot was like, well, thank your lucky stars or something. He's like, the fog just happened to open up, and it was us and I think like 3 other planes that were able to land. And I don't think all of them did, though. It just kind of like, the fog opened up just enough. And it was honestly at the point where it was like, you looked outside and it was fog, and then we like magically just hit the thing. I'm just looking out from the passenger window, or the little plane window, but I could only imagine what the pilot was thinking. And that was kind of, I don't know if you even remember that. Yeah.
It's the magic of our reality.
It was pretty magical, though.
This stuff it's the truth. It's the reality. It's all things. And so the more you immerse yourself in it, remember, anything that we teach is tens of thousands of years old. So you're immersing yourself in something that has been repeatable and has been solidified and cultivated generation to generation for thousands of years. And that's why it's so palpable, it's so dense, it's so powerful in its nature and its offering. And when you follow just at face value, childlike in your nature, it will be materialized, and you'll be like, holy moly. Mm-hmm. And there's, remember, don't be, caught up in the semantics of the psyop, which is your emotions, okay? That's the part where you start being given, if you do something with the universe, if you want something, you have to help 3 other people. It's, again, another way to control you. Always remember, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's the current events within the planet Earth, or what you foresee is something that's as a microscope of just your daily life. If it starts with the seed of fear, it is a lie. And so, using fear as a mechanism of, I don't want to walk out on, a highway with thousands of cars merging, is a completely different story. That's not what we're speaking of.
And again too, it's like going back to that story, it wasn't even like a hey, I just feel like it's supposed to rain today, I just feel like making it sunny. It was just more of a situational thing where it's like, okay, we have this certain energy, let's shift it a certain way and stay within that flow.
Right.
You
And
know
of
what I
course,
mean? It's never a force.
no. It's wu wei,
It's
effortless
wu wei,
action.
absolutely.
And, the truth is, you become the magnet to your reality. You don't go, forcing things. It's like flies to doo-doo. It comes to you.
Yep.
And the more you embody that, the more you realize that, the more it will be representative. And you will see it you will express it as you are the Tao in your everyday life. It will be realized. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so tea is a fundamental thing. And starting this week, probably next week, we'll start integrating Mandarin into the channel. So, these are all root foundations of the very essence of all things that are valuable to us. And for all the people that are the OGs, the people of the channel, of social media, enjoy. That's
Yeah.
what we're giving it to you for, so you have a greater understanding. But realize that, this is, this is the month, because we're coming up to our new year. So all things are coming out. We're about to
All the rituals,
all the
all the
rituals.
tools,
We're
magic.
about to put all those things out there. So I want you guys to take advantage of those tools as they're coming in. I would grasp them as quickly as possible. We're going to put them and make them available to you. Grab them while they're hot. And so we're starting to integrate other things into the channel, where this Friday will be on Medicine Family, as far as I know, live with Latsu. And then we'll be doing these things more often so that people can get interaction instantaneously at a higher level of understanding and get all the things met that are needed to help you acquire your high level of consciousness.
I have a question for the tea. The tea ceremonies. Is the temperature of the water
Very important.
the
Very
importance of the temperature of the
Very
water?
important, because that evokes a certain release of that particular herb, tea, leaf, and what it does. So the temperature is absolutely critical, and that will vary depending upon what leaves that we are using. So it completely varies.
Yeah, because I mean, it's quite unusual, in my opinion, to see Chinese culture with like iced tea or like cold tea, or you know what I mean? It's
Well, it fundamentally goes against the understanding of yin and yang energy.
right.
So inducing, a cold energy like cold water has its place within magical ritual, but generally speaking, you're not going to induce that with any tea ritual. No, because your yang is expansive. Yang is representative of the Tao. So that there's a time and place for cold water. It's few and far between, as opposed to the hot.
Right.
We use the temperature control to generate and evoke certain responses, our chemical responses in the body, and that's your ultimate barometer is when you can do that.
I
Right?
kind of look at it like the yin and the yang, like the yin being the earth of, or the tea coming from the earth being so yin, the yang being the heat of the water, and then the two blended together, that perfect synchronicity or harmony.
Blammo. And that's really, part of it on a much deeper level when you get to realize all these little elements come together.
Yeah.
And the clay pots, and then the tray, and what that means when you're pouring it in a specific direction within a certain formation of your tea ritual. And ultimately, the proof is in the pudding. When you do these things, it's crazy stuff starts taking place internally, externally. All bets are off.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do a ritual.
No, yeah, we will. We'll start doing rituals,
And
share
go
with
through
them.
the whole thing.
And go right through each mechanism, each component, critical to the outcome. Now, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
What we, pretty much.
Would you say that, today, obviously, loose leaf tea has been such a staple as how they would drink it. But, we have the conveniences and the modern take of, today and society that could you still get similar powerful effects if you didn't have, say, you had a bag tea versus...
Well, everything it can be imprinted, but
Right.
I know this, that bag tea most likely is polluted with toxic whatever. It's not a pure offering.
You want the highest quality.
Highest quality. You want to know where the soil came from, what part of which region, what province, where exactly your tea leaf came from, and how was it harvested, and how was it cultivated, how was it grown, and then the farmer will actually have that provenance. They will be able to present to you in detail what soil it was grown in, where it was grown, in what direction, and in what was it which particular mountain. All these things are relevant to the purity of the tea. And that's the sort of depth and level that we go to when we're looking for this stuff. And there are all these check-off points that you go through. It's just like a fine anything.
Well,
whatever.
they do it with coffee. I feel like coffee, it's almost more mainstream to know, like, okay, where did the bean come from? How was it harvested? What type of aroma was imprinted in it? Whereas I feel like people kind of dismiss the power of tea or don't go to that much length to find out, like you said, where was it grown? How was it grown? What was, the soil, all the stuff. Because it's so powerful within tea as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 1,000%. But, so in essence, that's sort of the fundamentals of weather magic. We use that working with the gods of thunder. We use that working with the gods of the directions, i.e. the four heavenly kings, and Kuan Yin, as she is representative of earth energy and all that it brings from eternal to being fertility in of itself. So there's all these profound healing benefits, and then we use that with the star stepping and what is evoked within the vehicle of the Taoist priest practitioner that is using this magic to evoke the 9 celestial stars of the magical square. That also is evoked through this 7 stars of the Big Dipper, right? And so then the North Pole and the South Pole, North Pole, and then of course Earth are the 2 other points of access that generate the 9 points that we speak of. A whole heap of deep, mind-blowing stuff there. Wanted to give you a bit of an outcome. So, last 2 episodes we've been talking about how to start a new year. Start with the physical, the mental, emotional, the nutrition, your eating behavior, your lifestyle. And, so now we're going into ritual. We're giving you a little sample of that ritual and how important that is. So it's always exciting to get a greater understanding of that and hear that and know that it's available to you. And we'll start integrating that as of, this next week or so. Each week we'll do a tea ritual. We'll go into a little bit more magic. I'll give you samples of some magic that you can, test drive. And, these are all developmental skills that you acquire. And again, remember our new year is coming up. So we will be, offering all these ways to acquire that, from Qigong training to, architecture of healing. All these things will be available for you. If you choose to acquire them, they will be accessible. And I suggest that you do, level up. Always use the baseline, the way 126, which is, the base to all things, because you erase your emotional content and you get down with the get down. There's nothing more powerful than that. And you will acquire that as a side effect of your journey within the way 126, a visual audible experience, creating the kinesthetic charge that validated to you that it's true, creating a gamma brainwave, making you highly conscious, 100% conscious, and being able to change your, and create and alter all things for yourself and others at will. This is power that is within you. You just need to unlock it with the frequency, and it is yours. That's the power of it.
It's like your energetic art box.
Yes.
So we give you all the tools you need to create. And then once you have all the tools and you've mastered that, then you create anything that's in your imagination.
Yeah.
Anything that's in your dimension or beyond this dimension.
And beyond the dimension. That's it. Booyah.
Yeah.
So, with that, I think we've gone over a lot today.
Yeah.
I think it was very exciting. Very.
I love Taoist history. I don't
know. I'm not really.
I could talk about it forever.
I'm not really big on it. Yeah. So, any closing thoughts, feelings, and emotions you want to share, High Priestess Jade?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just really exciting, and we'll get deeper into more of the rituals, more of the tools, more of the different things that we use within that, and be able to share that with people and have them start experiencing it.
Booyah.
And it's almost like people kind of look at it like, oh, it's just tea. It's like dismissed a little, the simplicity of it, but it's almost the more simple it is, the more profound the effect it has, and healing properties and magic properties, and these very, very kind of things that get dismissed, I feel like, or overlooked, are so, if you know how to use them the right way, can have such a huge benefit.
And that's exactly what is one of the other offerings. We will have a tea program that you can acquire if you would choose to. That won't be probably for the next couple of weeks, but that'll be available. And, people want the origins. They want the origins of this stuff. And it's really powerful as a seed and a foundational component to your own healing, your own training, all things Taoist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With that, we can just do a little something, as we always do, ending our podcast with an absorbing of the riches, as anyone who is an OG or even someone who's never been on this channel before and is watching this video, you will instantly access that level of consciousness. Oh, yeah. Just as I say it, oh, my goodness, why am I feeling all this energy? Sifu, this is crazy. You're welcome. Because that's really fundamentally how we work. We're just a tuning fork, a frequency that is being generated, and you just attune yourself to it. That's why we are multi-dimensional beings, per se. That would be a quick definition of what that means. is that we're all operating on all dimensions at the same time, and it's for you to be able to acquire the frequency to obtain that, whatever it is that you're looking for. Whatever it is that you desire has already taken place. You just have to match it. That's it. Match it and be realized. So, with that, we're not going to get any really finely tuned, other than just get you a nice big fundamental burst of energy. So this is sort of a little secret sauce, hidden secret. So you're going to inhale through your nose, gulp saliva, and drop it down through your throat. This is part of the embryonic breathing and primordial breathing that we teach as a staple for Taoist respiration. And it's really, really, it's a cornerstone of all Taoist practices. You know, we don't call it embryonic breathing for no reason. What does that even mean? Think about how a baby is alive within, submerged in fluid within the womb for this creation of life, of universe for 9 months. Hello, isn't that a miracle in of itself?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're realized in this 3D reality, and then, if you take a human to water after the fact, even though they were trained to breathe within it, you would die. It doesn't even make any sense, because it isn't. It doesn't make sense, because the truth is, when you understand how the fundamentals of this stuff works, you breathe from consciousness.
Yes.
And that consciousness is realized within your practices, right? So, with that said, let's go through and just supercharge a little bit. So, it'll be inhale through the nose, gulp, and then let it drop down through your throat, down into your lower dantian. You're going to do this 3 times, and then you're going to basically, on each time, once it drops to your lower dantian, you're going to exhale. On the 3rd exhale, you're then going to hold it. And it's going to be for 18 seconds, and then watch the magic realized. So, with a sense, without a sense, find your comfortable place, attune yourself as you already have been, and let's get down with the get down when it comes to this incredible internal practice. Without any further ado, inhale, gulp, inhale, gulp, inhale, gulp, and hold. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Oh yeah, oscillating, reverberating, pulsating. This is the real deal. This is the truth as you know it. The power of all things. For anyone that is hearing me in the distance or is present to this very action, immerse yourself in the enveloped transmutation of the universe as your representation of your frequency that you are feeling right here, right now. Let that be all things. And with that, stay where you are, embrace and absorb the riches, envelop the healing. And I am your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master Sun Quinn, and I will see you on the next one, guys.